Have you ever looked at one of those awesome, powerful computers and just thought, man, could I actually build that myself? Well, let me tell you, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. Today, we're going to dive into exactly how to build your own PC. And I promise you, this is way more of an exciting adventure than some scary technical test. So, let's get right into it.
And you know what? That is the absolute perfect way to think about this. This isn't about being some kind of engineering genius. Nope. It's about following some clear steps to create something that is uniquely yours. It's a puzzle that, once you solve it, gives you a machine built perfectly for whatever you want to do.
So before we start grabbing our parts and getting our hands dirty, let's talk about the payoff. Why even go on this quest in the first place? What's the big reward at the end of all this?
Okay, it really boils down to these four amazing things. First, you get total control. You pick every single piece. That means you can get way better performance for your money than just buying something off the shelf. And maybe the best part of all, you walk away with a brand new skill, and you'll really understand the machine you just brought to life.
All right, every great adventure needs a team, right? A party of heroes. Well, in our case, that team is the core components of your PC. So let's meet the party and get to know what each member does.
First up, we have the motherboard. I want you to think of this as the central nervous system, or maybe the entire road system of a city. Every single other component plugs directly into it, and it's what allows them all to talk to each other. It's the literal foundation of your entire build.
And right here, this is the brain of the whole operation, the CPU. This little chip is an absolute powerhouse. It handles all the thinking, all the processing. I mean, anytime you click something, type, or launch a program, the CPU is what's doing all that heavy lifting.
Next up is the RAM. This basically acts as the computer's short-term memory. It holds all the data your CPU needs to get to right now. So, the more RAM you have, the more things your computer can juggle at the same time without slowing to a crawl. It's the secret sauce to smooth multitasking.
Now for the artist of the group, the graphics card, also known as the GPU. This component is completely dedicated to creating all of the visuals, everything you see on your monitor. So if you're into gaming, video editing, or really any visually intense stuff, a powerful GPU is absolutely crucial.
And this right here is the computer's long-term memory. Your storage drive is what holds onto all your files, your games, your operating system, and it keeps them safe even when the computer's off. A super-fast SSD will make your PC boot up in just seconds, while a bigger hard drive gives you tons of space for everything else.
And last but not least, we have the heart of the system, the Power Supply Unit, or PSU. This little box takes the raw electricity from your wall outlet and carefully converts it into the exact, stable power that every single one of your components needs to run safely. You literally can't do anything without it.
Okay, teams assembled. We know who's who. Now, before we actually start building, we've got to get our workshop ready. This is all about having the right, simple tools, and more importantly, knowing the #1 safety rule.
And here's the good news. You don't need some fancy professional workshop. Your toolkit is actually super simple. All you really need is a good Phillips head screwdriver. Trust me, a magnetic tip will be your best friend. A little bowl or something to hold your screws, and a clean, flat table. An anti-static wrist strap is also a really good idea.
Okay, let's get serious for a second. Let's talk about the single biggest threat to your brand new expensive components. It's not dropping them, it's not plugging something in wrong, it's this invisible enemy you see here, static electricity. One tiny, unseen zap from your finger can permanently fry a component.
But look, defeating this enemy is actually really easy. Try to work on a hard floor if you can, not on carpet. Avoid wearing socks or fuzzy clothes. And here's the most important habit to get into. Just frequently touch a bare metal object, like the metal on your computer case or a table leg. That'll safely discharge any static you've built up. It's that simple.
All right, with our preparations complete, the main quest can finally begin. It is time to bring all of our components together. We're going to walk through the most critical make or break steps of the whole assembly process. Okay, take a deep breath, for real. We're about to start with what most people think is the trickiest, most delicate part of the entire build, installing the CPU. But don't worry, it's not hard, it's just about being careful and precise.
So here's the absolute #1 rule. Never, ever force the CPU. You just lift the little metal lever to open the socket, find the tiny arrows on the corner of the CPU and the socket, and line them up. The chip should just drop right in with zero force at all. Then, when you close that lever, the plastic cover is going to pop off. Don't freak out. That's totally supposed to happen.
And just like that, the hardest, most stressful part is over.
Seriously, installing the RAM is so much easier. It's actually really satisfying. You just open the little clips on the motherboard, line up the notch on the RAM stick, and then press down firmly on both ends until you hear a nice solid click. Okay, now hold on. Before we put a single thing inside the case, let me give you the most important pro tip you're going to hear all day. Test your core components first. We call this a bench test, and believe me, it can save you hours of frustration down the road. And this test is incredibly simple. Just place your motherboard right on top of the box that came in. Plug in the main power cables, connect a monitor, and just briefly power it on. If you see the fan spin and some lights come on, you know your main parts are working before you go through all the trouble of screwing everything into the case.
Now, for the grand finale. We've got everything assembled inside the case, the cables are managed, and it's officially time for the moment of truth.
So everything's connected. The side panels are on. You've plugged in your monitor, your keyboard, and your mouse. You take a breath, you press that power button for the very first time, and hopefully you see signs of life. Fans start spinning, lights start glowing, and a brand new screen pops up on your monitor.
That screen you're seeing is called the BIOS. Think of it as your computer's most basic settings menu. On your first trip in here, you just want to do a quick health check. Make sure it sees your CPU and all your other parts, check that the temperatures look okay, and most importantly, find a setting called XMP or EXP and turn it on. That's how you unlock the full speed of the RAM you paid for.
And that's really it. You did it. You went from a pile of boxes to a fully functional, custom-built computer. The quest is complete, the puzzle is solved. And you didn't just build a machine, you've gained this deep understanding of how it all works. So now, the only real question left is, what amazing things are you going to do with it?